strange, I've just not seen it update on my side, so that's rather odd. Oh, right, now it looks okay. Loud and proud. Okay, fantastic. That was strange. It's like I was seeing it on my end as if nothing was happening, and it's like, okay, well, this is weird. How are you guys doing? Yes, indeed, hard difficulty. Hard difficulty for hard men. See, I was actually considering doing this on impossible difficulty, which is not that impossible. It's not that bad. I mean, hard's pretty rough. It's not a big difference between hard and impossible, to be fair. Well, it actually is. It's a big difference. But we'll try that one in the future, I reckon. Yeah, it's a fantastic difficulty name, isn't it? I mean, it says it right there in the tin. Impossible. But it should be fantastic. I think hard difficulty is going to prove to be quite the challenge. At the end of the day, we are already being pushed back by the Soviets. So it's proven to be rather intriguing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the scenario up here, then at least we can actually see it. Hello there, Lanza. How you doing, my friend? Okay. I need to just quickly change that preference. Uno momento. Ba-ba-bum. Is it here? I forget where the actual... Right, show you... Yeah. There's one of the options where, like, you can decide whether you have the game zoomed in at start or zoomed out. Prefer it, like, kind of zoomed in. Yeah. Oh, dear. I mean, that is the old series I did. So, I'm just going to quickly load that up. I mean, this is before the actual stream, so I think we'll be okay. I think this was the last episode of my series I did. I don't know, I might continue that. But I mean, this is like as far as I got in my own series, but this was on just, I think, like a lower difficulty, like normal or something like that. So the game is significantly different on that difficulty. But I mean, yeah, we'd taken Moscow here. Where's Moscow? Here's Moscow. Yeah, so Moscow had fallen here. So, I don't know, I might continue this game at some point in the future. It was quite fun. We were really trying to make our big push towards Baku. And really trying to make it towards Kubaishev. Which would have made that. But, yes, best get back to the right stream here before, well, right episode, right scenario. Before I get shouted at. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. If a game is well built, playing one of the difficulty levels to the right of normal should do it. Yeah, this is true. I think when it comes to this sort of game, it's the case of the AI. The AI isn't really as imaginative as a human player is. So, that's the only issue there. This game isn't cheap, you know what, this game is certainly worthwhile. There's so much fun here. And I'm not just saying that, I really do mean that. There's a hell of a lot to this game. And I really do love it. I'm sure you guys would as well. Hello there, Grey Knight, how you doing, my friend? Man, I've actually got my... Like, I've got a AGM SEG44 somewhere. Yeah, I've got it somewhere in my room. I haven't got it actually all set up, otherwise that'd be nice. Man, you should hear just when you pull the catch. It's so beautiful. But you know what? An STG44, it feels great. I wish I had a real one. Well. Yeah, sales always be coming around. They do some pretty nice sales. Always a good thing. So, a minute to go. Feels like it's going a lot faster this time. We're back to our Wednesdays as well, which is cool. Oh, come on. It's not that intimidating. It's beautiful. The scale of it is just... I love that. I love having that maneuverability. I love to have that freedom, really. You don't need one specific on Steam. It'd be great, but you don't need it. You can get it, of course. It's easy enough. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to XTRG Challenge, which sounds strange coming from myself, so a little bit of a third-person thing going on there in first person. But alas, we are, well, somewhat on the back foot here. Let's just say that to be rather kind to ourselves. We are facing massive counter-offensive, well, massive offensives in the, well, in the centre theatre around Poland. Hungary is being pressed down here to the south, where the Hungarians have surrendered some time ago. So we are we are without allied support, without Axis support. Though we do have some tricks up our sleeves, as the Soviets are now finding out. We did start a limited counter-offensive over here, and I do mean limited, as we were considering diving deep here, which could be done. Had I more reconnaissance planes available, had they actually been more, well, I did send them out to do the reconnaissance quite heavily, so of course they can't fly too many missions. Had we had a few more missions available, we might have been able to see a little bit more information here. What I do favour is, I really do favour trying to cut off this here. Just going to bring up my handy dandy drawing tool. Really comes in handy. Okay. So what I was wanting to do was to come down here, basically drive an offensive, and try to actually cut them off along the Baltic. Really isolate them. I don't know if I could have actually held this, but I think just cutting them off from supply for some time would have made them a hell of a lot weaker. So it would be rather intriguing. Okay. We do have a few options, but I think what we'll have to do then is see how the Red Army reacts here. What I do imagine they will do is they will funnel troops up to obviously take this area back again. But this is the point I do need to worry about. These troops are very powerful. We do have some powerful troops here as well, but I suppose we have like 3 main clusters of Red Army forces. Here, here, and here. I suppose you could kind of practically count that as one cluster, barring the armoured brigades here. Which do separate them. This is dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. I'm also here due to the presence of the guards and their proximity to supply locations. Riga is going to be their supply location, their supply hub. So that's making them rather combat effective. Now, Kurland is one of those things that most people would say, evacuate, evacuate. But evacuation is surprisingly counterproductive to what we need right here. Fair enough, we do have a good majority of the Reich's forces over there. So I mean this is Army Group North, or what remains of it, under the command of General Oliver Ferdinand Schorner. I can't really pronounce the German names very well, so do forgive me. But if we go over here to administration, well sorry, admin screens, we'll take a look at the headquarters. So if we take a look over here then, so Army Groups, you can see Army Group North, almost 450,000 men, 5,471 guns, over 1,000 armoured fighting vehicles and 358 aircraft. That's a lot of power. That is a significant chunk of the Wehrmacht. So, it's one of those. You would think it would serve better in Germany, and just across the frontier in general, but of course it would do. It would be very good there. But the thing is, how many Red Army troops are being held up here? How many are being thrown against the defences that we have in place here? Place your bet on how large the pocket of encircled Russians... You know, if I can destroy a single division, I think I'll be happy. I think that will be the high point of the stream, destroying a division. So, that's how high, well, relatively low we're setting the bar here. So we'll have to go for that, really. Now, we did move a lot of our troops over here, so we have been preparing in some areas here. We do still have a good number of troops to move, but we do need to consider their strength. We did launch a limited counter-offensive over here. We did secure some mod ground, and we are pushing them back towards Warsaw, which is quite good, actually. This is going to panic the Red Army here in this sector to some degree. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to drive like a wedge between the Red Army here at Warsaw. Lodz is what we are trying to shield from the Soviet offensive, which we're doing fairly well. But this is what we need. We need to hold them, and we need to divert these tsunamis, basically, around the rock that is Lodz. We need to protect Lodz. Lodz is a strategic city for us now. It certainly is one of those cities that we shall not fall back from. That is a big honking Soviet defensive line, though. Indeed. There's always weaknesses. The Soviets do have overwhelming strength in certain sectors, but not everywhere. Even, I mean, here, for example, they are building up their forces, and this is where we are anticipating another Red Army offensive. You take a look at this with the armor there. I did try with Warsaw. I did try. I didn't... I didn't actually voluntarily step back from Warsaw. We were kind of evicted from Warsaw. But hey, who knows? Lodz is certainly more defensible due to its distance from the front line. But we'll have to see what we can do. I do fear for these airfields, actually. I could very much do with having them moved further to the rear. Now, we do have a breakthrough over here of Soviet forces, so that does worry me. Okay, we'll pull back. I do have the 18th SS Panzer Grenadiers nearby, but they only have 12,000, close to 13,000 men. Some 170 guns, 114 armoured fighting vehicles. Not the largest amount. So it's not really... I mean, it is a division after all, but it's not like the heyday divisions that we used to have. Right, we do need to fill this gap. I do need to protect the city here. And it's not a good situation when you have a headquarters on the front line. Okay, what do we have to play with? I do have a Jaeger Corps. Now, the Jaegers are very effective. The terrain here is light woods. Okay. Now, we do have mountains here. It may be more effective for us to actually move the division zone. So I think that's what we'll do then. Well, actually, let's see. So I could move this division here. We'll have this division, the 253rd, assigned to the 17th Army. The reason for that is, let's see, what is the command? Right, yes, you can certainly handle more troops. You've only got 3 divisions under your command directly. So we'll give you another infantry division or 2. Have you assigned to the SS? Oops. Wrong division. Sorry, wrong corps. Oh, no, that is correct. Okay, there we go, fantastic. Hello there, Grainwald. How you doing, my friend? Okay. I do really enjoy the Bomb of the Right music. This is what's playing at the moment. It's really quite uplifting for this scenario. Which is good, very good. Okay, what I'm considering doing here is having... these divisions are very, very weak. Not very... not really what you call a division, I suppose. It's not far from, but it's not... certainly not a division. Hello there, Varna. How you do, my friend? What we may do then is... I'm thinking, break up these 2 Jaeger divisions. That should give us enough forces if I move another division here. Which I will do. I think what we'll have done then... It might even be worthwhile to have a division in reserve here. Something to actually give us some operational depth to our defensive lines here. So I think that's what we'll do. Okay, you'll march over here. You'll serve now under the 17th Army, under this corps. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is break these forces up here. So I'll move a corps this way. The infantry brigades will certainly make up some of the numbers. Okay, do you have that movement? You don't have that movement, okay. Well, that works out fine for now, actually. So what we have here then is... the Jaegers are spread out over here, as well as the infantry. So we have removed 2 divisions from this area here. I don't think we'll suffer for that due to the terrain here. Actually, that's not a good move, considering the distances. So, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We do have a couple of headquarters here. This is the 1st Panzer Army headquarters. Okay. I do need to see when I can actually pull back. These forces are fantastic. These ski Jaegers. Ski Storm Squad. Very effective. So they're using MP38, so that's 40 SMGs. I mean, their actual equipment itself isn't too great. I suppose at the end of the day, they do need to be light on their feet. Okay, what I may do then here is actually have force these ski Jaegers move out to actually come in here. I mean, technically, they're significantly weaker in terms of actual numbers, but in terms of actual combat value, they're pretty damn tough. If we give them some support, they should actually be able to hold this mountainous area here, which is pretty good. Actually, this is technically clear terrain. Mountains, mountains. You can see here, this is where they're weakest, in the actual open terrain. But what I feel like it may be most effective to do then, is to actually have this division head over here to the 17th Army, to act as a potential reserve. So you're overburdened. So what I can do is I can have you attached. Right, you're within supply, so that's fine. But what we'll do then is the following turn I'll have the division here of Jaegers attached to the 17th Army. Then we'll have to figure out a core command to put them under. The idea being we use them in the... If we are indeed pushed into the rough terrain. We'll have to use the Jaegers, as they'll be certainly more effective. I mean, this is city. I mean, if it was a mountainous city, that'd be a dream. That'd be so very difficult for the Soviets to take from me. We have multiple panzer divisions. And I say panzer division quite lightly, but we do have at least some numbers. Only 76 vehicles over here. It's not exactly great, is it? Though 14 are Jagdpanzers, which are very effective vehicles. We do have Panzer 4Js and Panzer Gs. Now, Panthers are pretty damn good and pretty damn effective. The artillery is rather intriguing. 88 millimeters, as they are multipurpose. Okay, what we will do then is for this force here, actually, let's see. The core command could do with some actual further assistance. So I could give them some more Panzer Jaegers, which I will do. So I'm going to lock this support here so nothing can be taken away or changed without my say so. I do have that Panzer division. Okay, right. What I'll do then is actually move just some extra forces this way, just to shift some of the balance. I could potentially launch a counter-offensive here, try to push them back towards the river line here to reclaim this town. That'd be very nice. What do you think of Mare Nostrum? I don't think I've actually played Mare Nostrum, to be fair. I'm very bad at games like that, so I believe Mare Nostrum. Oh yes, that's the ship one, isn't it? Yes, obviously. I'm very bad at games like that. It sounds like really strange for me to say, but it's like I'm really bad at turn-based games. At least that sort of turn-based game. Games like this with like this ridiculous scale, it's like I can thrive on this. This is my jam. This is my proverbial jar of jam. Okay, the 4th SS, not FS. SS Panzer Grenadiers are looking pretty damn attractive right now. Though the 8th Panzer Division is looking like the best response so far. What do we have in terms of rail capacity? 17,000 is actually quite high. I think what we need then is we do need panzers in the south. We really are lacking. If we go over to here and we look at the actual commands, let's look at the actual army groups, so the actual armies themselves. So we have 17th Army down here under the command of Army Group A. And you only have 130 armoured vehicles. Every other army has a couple hundred. At least a couple hundred. Certainly over 200. I mean, the second weakest would be the 4th Army, and even they have 262. So even they have double the number of panzers that the 17th Army does. If we take a look at what we actually have for the 17th Army, it's mostly assault guns, which I'm not going to complain about. But not many Stuck 3s. They're still great, don't get me wrong, but they are certainly starting to get a little bit outdated at this point in time now. They're not as effective as they once were. Jagdpanzer's pretty good, pretty good. I can make do with them. But let's see. Heavy tank destroyers. We do have 27 Nashorns, which are very good, very good. But we'll go back here then. Okay, so back to HQs, back to the 17th Army. Yeah, as for everything else, we actually only have self-propelled flak and just a medium self-propelled flak. So this number is actually even lower than you would imagine. And you take a look, in terms of artillery, it's not too bad. There's quite a lot of mortars. But let's compare this to Ninth Army, for example. You look at all this like armoured support they have, and that's a lot of armoured support. For example, these heavy assault guns are really quite nice. Heavy tank destroyers like Jagdpanthers, Jagdpanzers, heavy tanks like Tigers, multiple different types of Stugs, close support armoured car. These guys are really good. I always like these guys. They are pretty effective with their big guns. Okay, Albert Speer needs to get to it. Yes, he does indeed. So I think strengthening the strengthening 17th Army with Panzers is a good idea. Especially here. So we'll move them via rail. Have them come off. We'll have them assigned. I do need a command nearby. What do we have here? We have a fleet call. No captured M36s. Okay. Let's see. Can I actually find my captured pool? Production types. Right, yeah, there we go. Captured. We don't have anything captured as of this moment. No? No? Let's see. Ah, yes, we do. We have a few captured pieces of equipment. Not terribly much. We do have a Sherman. We do have an IS-2, actually. So that's rather scary to see that we have IS-2s. Yeah. T-34/85. But this is by far the deadliest thing we've caught. Very deadly. The 122mm D25 gun. So you can see here the rate of fire is 2, accuracy is 550. I wish I knew what its armor penetration values were like. That's certainly something I'm not looking forward to seeing is the IS-3. That's a bloody tough thing. Okay. So we do have some pieces of captured equipment. Not much. Certainly not much. Okay. What we'll do then is we'll have you attached directly to the 17th Army. Okay. So you can see you've gained quite a bit of strength there, as obviously you're being supported. So what I'll then do is, they're not on the rail line, which is good, but I reckon we'll roll on up to the front line here, and support them. I am tempted to deploy here, but I will deploy in this this position here. So one of these brigades can be, well, they're not looking like they'll be able to support anybody, due to the limited amount of availability. IS-3 Tiger Killer. Yeah, that's pretty much true. Oh yeah, that gun packs a heck of a punch. See, now what I want to find out is, do we have any Brumbars? I love the Brumbars. They're awesome. Awesome pieces of equipment. So let's see then. We still have some super heavy guns. Not many. Some. Might see where they are, actually. AT guns, heavy AT guns. Love those. Right, production filter. Let's see here. Active pools. Now these are very good. I've not seen the Brumbar. Ah. We do have some King Tigers. Kind of tiger. Right. Deploy to the north. Which army are you under? 37 King Tigers here. Right, okay. Seems like we don't have any Brumbars. Okay, let's see what we have as far as it goes for air support. The airfields itself really do have a lot of work to do. I will deploy more fighter bombers. Bring the numbers up over here. Okay, that's pretty much everything we have in reserve. Certainly not much left, is there? Okay. I think it's a case of, at the moment, of choosing what to bring in for reinforcements. I think we do need certainly more armor to the south. 114 armored vehicles. 76. Right, I do have this core, which is actually very handy. What we'll do then is we'll move that core to the south. Do I have the means to do so? Ah, you're deactivated. Right, what we'll do then is we'll move the core down here to the south. Yeah, there's certainly not much left of the Luftwaffe at this point. Okay, take you off the trains. We'll have you assigned to the 17th Army. There we go. Have you assigned to the Mountain Corps. Can't move any further right now. But I could have the Panzers assigned to the Mountain Corps. At least in this fashion, we are going to be able to support these guys quite well. I will have to deploy some support to this actual core. Make sure it does have something adequate. Okay. Let's see. I do have the K-39 guns, so I guess I'll have to throw those in there for the time being. So we have only a couple, and I mean a couple, but these are heavy pieces of artillery, so they'll do something, but there's only, what, 4 of them, so it's not going to be very much of anything. Okay, I do have the Panzers here. We certainly need to move the headquarters back. Definitely can't allow them to be caught up into the fighting. Right, this is where the attack's going to come from. Okay, reserve. Now, I do have the 17th Panzer Division. Shift the focus of our units over here with the Panzer Grenadiers. I'm going to shift the Panzers actually down to this location. It might seem a little bit counterintuitive, as you'd imagine the Soviets will be driving on, but this is a weakness. If this folds, I'm going to find that extremely difficult to fill in. I don't have the reserves here nearby. I do have some, which I am going to be deploying. I think the 18th SS Panzer Grenadiers do need to be deployed to the actual situation here. Numbers are something we really don't have on our side down here in the south, so numbers will need to be focused on this area. I do think something just to build up strength in this area just outside of Krakow, as I have very little there. Okay, so I'll have you attached to 17th Army, unless I have something nearby. Who do these troops fall under the command of? Okay, your commander is here. I'm going to shift you over this way. You are at your command limit. So are you. Okay. We'll have you under the 17th Army command directly. But you were keeping them in reserve for this on Moscow. Yeah, but they don't know that. Okay. I did that by mistake, but that's actually not too bad. You should be able to cope with that. Okay. We will deploy you here to the center on reserve. Have you move up closer? Right, there we go. Okay, we do need to deploy our construction battalions. So let's see, I'm going to have them deployed under 2nd Army. I do actually have a division here. That's not too bad. Couple divisions here. Führer, Big Light, Panzer Grenadier Division. Just have a drink of some coffee here. While we're waiting then for me to drink some coffee like an animal, what are your guys' thoughts so far? Where do you think we are going to be facing the next Soviet offensive? Where do you think we should be defending? Should we give cities away? Or should we hold on to them at all costs? Ah, that's a good coffee. I mean, regarding giving... Well, yes, regarding giving terrain, it does make a lot of sense in certain locations and at certain times. For example, yeah, hold until relieved. By the West. Okay. Yeah, tell me about it. You know what, the actual eternal bane of streaming, or just being a YouTuber in general, cringy to say that, but the actual eternal bane of being a YouTuber is the fact you make a drink, and you never get to have it warm. You never, ever get to have it really nice and warm. So I've just come to a point in my life now when I'm just okay with cold drinks. I'm just fine. I'll deal with that. In my head, it can be warm. In my heart, it'll be warm. But in reality, no, it's cold. Cold as a fart. Okay. You need to be reassigned. You're not ready as well, actually, so you're not even... it's not a good idea to actually have you in the combat zone. So I'll take you off the train. Well, we will do in time, but we'll have you to refit. Okay, we'll deploy the 2nd Army closer to the front line. Around about here. I'll have that division attached directly to them for the time being. Lady Soviet, drink vodka. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we'll attach these construction battalions. The reason I'm doing this as, well, really, as the 2nd Army is forced back, we are going to have to start to dig in. And that is certainly going to be a lot easier if we do have construction battalions to aid in that. It's a difficult one here. I do have the Volkskamp Jaegers, and I am considering where to use them. There's not really a good answer. There's plenty of possibilities, but not really many good answers. Okay. I'm going to send some more infantry over here, actually. We'll send some infantry... I was hoping that we could actually cover here with the Panzer Grenadiers, as I don't want them on the front line. Vodka brings out XTRG strategic genius. You say this, but if we capture Moscow, just saying. I know who will be dancing. Now, this is intriguing. I do have this division that's underutilized. Well, that core command that's underutilized. I'll have to use that for reinforcements then. Speaking of which, let's just take a look at the actual AFV then count once again. So we'll go to HQ. So 17th Army has been brought up to about 468 armoured fighting vehicles, which is a good thing, very good thing. I think in general we do need more armoured fighting vehicles, but we do need significant amounts of AT. The Soviets do have a overwhelming armoured advantage right now, in terms of numerical, which is pretty massive. Pretty massive. It's not overwhelming as such in quality, but that would be lying to myself. The Soviets do have some bloody good tanks. And they know that. Okay, this Panzer Brigade is going to be withdrawn soon enough, but that's not too bad. Okay, the Führer Grenadier Panzer Division, as well as the 25th Panzer Grenadier Division. I can't afford to move you via rail. I do have another headquarters here. And we have all these panzers to the north, actually, which is fantastic. There are troops coming here. We do have a number of reinforcements, and some pretty significant ones at that. Like the 11th SS Panzer Army is actually big game changer. We'll march these troops to the front that we can then. I'd say divisions with armoured vehicles will move via rail. These troops can march. They'll be okay. What I'm trying to do then is actually preserve my AFVs. Right, that's a very weak Panzer Division. I could reactivate the 1st Marine Division. What are they actually like? Their morale is okay. Table equipment is actually pretty fantastic. Okay. We'll reactivate you now. This army does need to be moved in the following turn, however. As to where will be decided by the scale of the Soviet offensive. I do feel it's going to be in this region. I really do. So I'm going to consider building up a actual fortified position here. Maybe very much worthwhile. And here. Okay, so no more no more administrative points available to us. So we are covered on the face of it. It is really going to be a question of how the Reds do drive on their offensive. Well, that's, yeah, certainly underutilized. The Volksjägers. Right, move you over here. I think what we'll do then is... I think we'll consider moving the Volksjägers here. Have them act as a reserve force. Now, the 58th Division is actually really bloody good. The morale's incredible right now. That's really quite nice. Have them both on reserve. We'll have these forces operate in tandem. They're actually pretty damn powerful, which does make a big difference. Okay, I do need the ability to repair the rail lines over here, actually. So we'll have these construction battalions assigned out here. I think if we can, we'll have the rest of them assigned to the north, if possible, to the 16th Army. Okay, not all of them, but I'll do. I suppose I could give some to this army, as they're going to certainly need it. The 4th Army may be pushed back as well. Right, no support. Okay, so as far as it goes with moving additional troops, we've kind of emptied the barrel on that one. So there's going to be a certain case of dig in and hope for the bloody best. Right, let's move these guys over here. Okay, you're on reserve at the moment, so we have 3 divisions here, 2 divisions here, 3 divisions here. I think what I'll do then is I'll move this Panzer Division back over here. Put you on reserve. Over here I have 3 divisions. Well, 2 divisions and a security corps. So we'll move that infantry division up to the front, where they'll serve the best. Okay, make sure we are just a little bit stood back. I don't want my front line being overrun and then our headquarters is half a mile away. Well, miles away. Okay. These guys need to be my ace. But I feel fairly confident with that. We'll see how we perform then. So we'll end the turn here. Actually, let's take a quick look then. Do we have any anticipation of what's coming? So, snow blizzards. Okay. Okay. And now is coffee time, while we watch the pain unfold. It would be marvellous to take back Kaunas. If I could take back Lithuania, that would be great. If I could link back up with the army in Kurland, at least with Army Group North in Kurland, that would really change the situation. It would certainly alter history. Okay, so as expected, we are being pushed back in the Krakow area. So I feel quite good about deploying extra troops down there. Right, they do hold the line. Seems they were reinforced by the guns there, the panzers. We are seeing Bf-109s and Focke-Wulf 190s in the air. Okay. Now the Red Army in this sector does have the strength, but they don't have the numbers. They do outnumber us in on a tactical level, but they can only concentrate in one location. It does seem as though they are trying to push on Hungary, at least onto the Carpathian Mountains. Right, we hold there, just outside of Warsaw. It looks as though the Reds have redeployed forces there to the Warsaw area, which I'm quite happy with there. Our defences hold again, the Grossdeutschland Panzer. Now is this going to take some of their momentum away? Okay, we do lose a small amount of AFVs. 16 in damage, but 3 are only lost permanently. Which I can handle that. Okay. I do feel like the Reds are stalling around Warsaw. They haven't converted those rail lines to be of use to them, I'd imagine. And they might have possibly done so, but I don't expect it. So I think what's happening here then is they're using a lot of their supplies. Okay, so we push back there. But they did have to use 67,000 men to push us back. Right, the Warsaw Infantry Division has been routed. That's certainly not a good sign. We'll have to send them to the rear area. Grossdeutschland actually does lose 29 AFVs and 845 men. That's not a good result there. Yes, they've definitely redirected their fury here towards the Lodz region. Another infantry division routed. Boy, do I feel good about deploying those Volksjägers. The 10th Panzergrenadier Division has pushed back. They inflict pretty good losses. Ideally, I need to remove their AFVs. I need to reduce their number of guns as well, which is certainly a harder task. Right, the 10th and the 25th have been forced back. Okay, now begins the pain of the North. Yeah, they're not feeling so great. I really need them... Okay, they have crossed the river. That's no good. It all depends on if they push. Okay, so they've taken the town, but they haven't actually secured it. That's really good. Now the issue is I'm really being pushed back in that area. Really, really been forced back hard. But they did manage to cross the river and secure one of the hexes. But they haven't secured the other two, so I can actually take those back. Which is good. I'm not actually losing ground. I'm losing men, but I'm not losing ground. And in the Kurland pocket, that actually does mean something. I need to reduce the combat width as much as humanly possible. That's a whole lot of artillery there. That's a whole lot of artillery in support. Over 2,000 pieces of artillery. Oof. We are suffering in Kurland. We may have to fall back. Wow, that's pretty rough. That's not good. Okay, now it's actually really bad. So they've just cut the rail line there. So that means supplies are going to still flow, but not very well. Yeah, the Reds are really throwing everything here. We'll see if they overextend themselves. Okay, so it looks like our forces here were able to aid them. So the situation in Kurland is becoming rather intriguing. I do need to stabilize that. I absolutely need to stabilize that. I don't want to be forced to evacuate Kurland. I do want to hold on to Kurland as long as I can do, to be fair. Okay, well, the loss of the town there, that is a good position loss, but we can retake it, it seems. I need to hold them until the weather changes. Send the furious firemen. Alright, to put out these fires. Alright. I did want to hold on to that town. I do need to hold with the second army. I'm fully expecting an offensive here. Fully expecting one. It may come to a point where we do have to seriously consider it. Well, consider our position in East Prussia. We've not yet reached that point, but that point is there on the horizon. It all depends on how these attacks work out. Each town loss isn't a great loss overall. Is it going to mean the end of the war? But on a tactical level, it does certainly make our situation a hell of a lot harder. As long as I hold on to my production centres, we can keep the economy going. We can sort of replace some of our losses. We can't replace them all. We never will be able to. But as long as we can keep the numbers up to a certain degree, we'll be able to forestall the Soviets. We'll be able to stall them, really. And if the weather does change, the Reds are going to find their losses really just significantly increase. It means there's no offensive for us, but if we can bleed them dry. I mean, the Reds, they may seem to have a huge amount of force, but they've lost a lot of men. They've lost a heck of a lot. The war is lost, indeed. I think it's an interesting question. Could the Reich have ever sued for the peace? I don't believe so. I think it would have been a case of eventual defeat. Even if it was in 46, even... I doubt it'd ever get to 47. It'd never ever get to 47. But if it got to 46, it might be a situation where it wouldn't happen. I think the Reich's economy would just collapse. It's an interesting question, something to consider. Are they really attacking me with a self-propelled gun brigade? Yeah, this is where it seems like the Soviets are just testing the lines. Wow, that's 2 divisions routed. Well, a division and a brigade routed. That's a bad result. So we've seen about 4 divisions or brigades rout here so far. The offensive didn't happen as I expected it to. I expected it here with this build-up, so perhaps they're yet to act, but I do expect a offensive here. I didn't anticipate something to the north. That's another division routed. Yeah, these reinforcements need to be moved up now. It looks bad, but this situation can be reversed. I mean, one way to consider it is at least the Soviets are short in the combat wave. I mean, that's the question, isn't it? It would have been a very interesting sort of scenario for us to have, rather than dug in East Prussia, to perhaps just pull back wholesale from East Prussia and establish a new defensive line. That would have been rather intriguing. Can you imagine the political repercussions? Unless something huge throws it off, the AI tries to replicate the historical offensive patterns. True. Yeah, it's looking a little bit shaky around Lodz. I mean, the fortress city there will hold, as there's no choice for it to hold. Well, for it not to hold. I'm not too happy about the routed divisions. Those are ones I can't force back into combat. The loss of territory I can make up for. Okay. So what we'll do here then is we'll have a Luftwaffe run reconnaissance sweeps over the front lines. Not so much. I need to use the reconnaissance in specific areas like here. It may still be that way. I mean, the Red Army has pushed. Well, I will be quite interested in this area here. It's only a small area, but it's going to be rather intriguing to see. And depending on the situation, we might be able to make the most of it. Okay. So losses in this following turn. Very high. 17,000 men dead. 11,000 wounded. I mean, these are relatively light losses for the Reich at this point, but they're still pretty high. I mean, the Red Army lost 40,000 men. These are almost 41,000 men killed. That's a lot of men killed. 22,000 disabled. But these numbers are nowhere near good enough. AFV's 149. 561. That's better, but not very good. It's not good enough. And in the air, 99 lost to 174. So these losses are pitiful. This is not going to balance things out in any degree. Okay, so let's take a look at the situation on the ground then. And do we have anything arrive this time? Okay, so we do have SS Grenadiers. More forces are to come. Not many actual divisions though, but we are coming quickly to an end of any extra reinforcements. There's not much that can be left. This SS Panzer Army is really going to be the thing that saves us. But let's look at the situation then. So let's do our reconnaissance sweep here. Just do it once with the AI. Okay. Now this is intriguing. So you can see here that, let's bring up the handy dandy drone tool. So you can see here the strength that was in this area is actually shifted down to the Warsaw area. Which I don't know how I feel about that. Considering that's incredibly strong. Yeah, just this in general is pretty powerful. Not all of it. I mean, we do have some areas we can deal with. Like, this can be dealt with, that dealt with, that dealt with. This is... I can handle that, no issues. It's the Armoured Brigade, sort of the Armoured Corps, as well as the Guard. Those are the difficult ones. I do have infantry divisions nearby to fill in these gaps. We still have the 9th Jägers as well as the 58th Infantry Division. They're going to come in a hell of a lot of use soon. I could form the 251st Division back up. It looks like a offensive towards Warsaw has really prompted a strong reaction from the Red Army. They've shifted their forces from the north down here. And you know what, in reality, this is looking pretty shaky for the Red Army. It's strong, but it's not that strong. I could push that back if I wanted to. Like, especially here, I could push these forces back quite easily. It wouldn't serve me very well, but it could be done. I was honestly expecting a much stronger offensive towards Königsberg here. So I'm actually glad that situation didn't occur. Something I'm going to quickly check on then is... Right, snow. I need that forecast to change. Right, these divisions have been unfrozen. Okay. So we are being pushed back slowly over here, but that's something I can manage. It seems like the defensive has been weakened significantly. Some of the emphasis has been shifted down here, some of it. The terrain isn't great here, but there's nothing to lose, and there's nothing to be gained by the Red Army. I do lose the town here, but I could consider shifting the line back. I would lose those fortified positions though, so that is something to consider. We did establish 2 new fortified centres over here, so 2 new fortified towns. So ideally that should give us a point to fall back to in the future. Okay, so over here, this is where the dangers come in. What is the supply situation like? Yeah, you're not receiving the supplies you need. So supply details. So you are being supplied. Where are you being supplied from? Right, so from your core command, of course, which still is which is a good sign. If they're receiving their supplies from the core command, that means that things are functioning as they should on that end. So you're now receiving your supply from over here. So yeah, you can see that is a terrible, terrible situation. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use my reconnaissance assets. I need to establish what we have down here in this area. Okay, let's use strategic reconnaissance. Okay. I do find this rather intriguing. Right. So as best as I can see here, it does actually look like the Soviets have really driven themselves in over here. If I was to actually move this division out of the way, we might be able to actually pocket this. Which is actually really exciting. I need to reclaim this hex, but this is actually looking fairly possible. I could actually shift this division up this way. I'm not going to lose much, but I'm actually going to gain a little bit of extra strength here just to hold this line. Oh, they've only got a brigade over here, so I can certainly take that. Which is good. I do need to do that. It's not going to help the situation overall, but this is actually really attractive. This might be possible. Let's see, what do we have here? A guard tank corps as well as a division. Tank corps and a guard rifle, and then a guard rifle. So is a large number of forces here, but not too overwhelmingly large that it would be impossible to destroy. So I think, if anything, we do need to try and do something here. I do have a lot of armoured forces. It's a shame that we are going to be fighting in... actually no, this is clear. This is fantastic. Right. First things first. Let's reestablish our control over here. I do need reinforcements here desperately. Okay. I'm suffering over here due to the fact I've relocated my armor. I do think it is for the best, though. I do think if we manage to actually cut off some Soviet forces, that is going to make the situation significantly easier up here. We are being pushed back quite hard here. I mean, the worst case scenario is we form something like that. Give up all the terrain here. That doesn't actually matter. I need to hold the ports at all cost. So the even worse situation would be like that. But we'll have to hold on best we can. I may consider moving back to this line. Or even to this one. This one would be the absolute worst case scenario. I mean, it would be the easiest to defend. But I do need to hold this area if I was to have any hope of that. What I'd rather do is hold something like that. I don't have the fortified positions though, which is a shame. I don't even know how you do, my friend. Okay. So I do think the Red Army has somewhat overextended itself here. Yeah, start digging in. I think we'll have to over in this direction. I may consider falling back. May. I think if we fall back too far, we actually do give in to something of a round. But the strength here isn't as great as it once was, and I think if we actually surround this, I think we could really deliver quite the hammer blow. Okay, so let's see. Move the security forces out to north there. Move these infantry up. Okay. So I'll have the 11th. What movement do we have here? 38, 35. Right. Move them here. Do I deploy these extra panzers? I think so. Okay, move the headquarters, the Panzer Corps headquarters down here. Let's see. I do have heavy Panzerjägers and Panzerjägers, so that's good. I'll have them. To be fair, I could do with them over here, but we'll have them assigned here. So give them the Panzerjägers. So lock that. Okay. So we will go for a full-on planned offensive. But I think what I'll do here then is, if I have the possibility to do so, I'll bomb here. So I do have some tactical bombers, Junker 87s, only 42 of them. Not enough to make a big difference, to be fair. But we'll attack here with ideally overwhelming strength. Ideally overwhelming strength that fails. Yeah, that's not a good situation. We'll try a planned attack again. Right, reserve 4th Panzer has been committed. Good, 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 good. Okay, they're forced out of position. These guys aren't capable of anything. The Panzers could continue to roll up, but what I'll do is I'll have the Panzers work in conjunction with these forces here. So let's see. Shift the infantry here. Are you not capable of a full attack? No, it seems not. Okay, I'll have the Panzers roll on up. Those are some heavy losses. Where's your command? Okay. Shift that division there. Attack with a planned attack with the one division, then we'll throw all three on a hasty. I don't think it'll actually manage it, but may have a chance. No, it's not looking good. Okay. Fall back over here. Send them on reserve. So I can't move here. Okay. What I'll do then is disband the fortified zone. Shift the security forces. Ideally nowhere. Okay, seems nowhere. I'll put the Panthers on the front line here. I do need to hold that location after all. I'll shift this Fortress Brigade down here to the south. So, this might work out. It depends really what the Red Army intends to do. I'm considering moving this infantry division in here into the port. If I hold the port, if I lose the port, I do lose everything here, so I'm going to hold on to the port at all cost. Have these divisions set to reserve. Okay. Now I can force them back over here without any issues. And they're routed, so that's good. Right, retake the town. I'll retake this forest, but we'll fall back along here. So what we're looking for then is, if we take a look, so our defensive line is kinda going to be like that. I'm going to give up this terrain here, as it's clear terrain. There is some forest here, but if we give up the clear terrain here, at least we are not giving the Red Army as easy as a time. I reduce the combat width to a degree then. So we'll fall back. At least I can move some more forces up to the north here. Right, these are security forces, so they could do with being moved to the north to be fair. But I'll send them back. Okay. Have this division fall back. Okay. 3,000 men isn't a insignificant number, but it's certainly not enough to hold the line. They're only really here just to act as a bit of a reserve, so I'll have them on that duty. Ideally, I'll have them meet back up with their actual full forces over here. Okay. Have you changed commands to one nearby? So in reality we are giving up ground, but what we're trying to do then is move back to where we have the rough terrain and the forest. I need to move back into the woods, to be fair. Ideally we move back, and the weather does change, we do gain the defense of the river. The river would make all the difference in the world. We did launch a limited offensive here, and I say limited. It may be in the following turn it works out, but we'll have to see. The Reds aren't really leaving as much room to play with, and their equipment superiority is certainly telling. You see, lack of supplies. We've certainly suffered in the last turn due to having that port cut off. Not completely cut off, but cut off to such a degree where it's not going to be great. If I take a look over here then, the rail line has been severed, which is a massive issue. So let's see. Can I have any construction battalions assigned here? Yes, I can. So we'll do that. Have a couple of construction battalions assigned. I do need to fly some supplies in here into Kirtland. So we'll do that then. Right, transport aircraft out of range. How about over here? No? Not a good situation. Okay. Thanks, man. Right. This isn't so bad. This is pretty okay. What I'm going to consider doing then is, if we pull back from here, I reckon, I need to consolidate the line in certain areas. This is starting to worry me, though. I can't... If the Reds do drive an offensive all the way up here to Brownsburg, I'm not going to be able to really do too much about that. I only have, like, a few infantry divisions here. So we do need to start pulling back in certain locations. Warsaw has been really the wild card here. What I'm considering here then is, do we actually drive an offensive through? What I'm thinking is, if we drive an offensive... Oh, that's a really bad arrow. Ooh, that's... Ooh. Okay, so if I drive an offensive here... Okay, that's not as embarrassing an arrow. But if I drive an offensive here through the centre, which actually isn't as easy as it does look, I mean, this would actually cost me quite a lot of resources. But if I was to do that, and head towards the city of Modlin, well, the town of Modlin, along the Bug River, it could distract attention from Lodz, which is something that we do need to consider. But the situation is calm here, so I think what I might do is actually take advantage of that. The Volkskomjägers and the 58th have actually held over here quite well. I need to hold on to Lodz, and this is a worrying situation. So I think these infantry divisions of the SS that are close by, they will be assigned to this area. We did have some success over here. They did manage to hold to a good degree. But there's a lot of forces coming for them. Okay. You know, I'm looking forward to Armoured Brigade. That should be really good. Honestly, love anything Cold War. Right, okay. Okay, so we have the 549th. I'll fall back with this force over here, reform the division. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the forces down here. I need to redeploy, I need to strengthen the centre here. I'll retake that swampy terrain over there. I can retake the town, but the town's too good to pass over, especially if it's unoccupied. And if we take a look over here then, let's have a look at our supply situation. So the supply situation out here is really... it's no good. Things will improve as we get pushed back in terms of actual range supplies. I don't want to be pushed back, that's the thing, but it will improve. We've lost ground, but not a huge amount. Okay, I'm reconsidering actually the idea of moving the AFVs entirely by rail. I don't think we'll have that luxury for too much longer. I need to get these forces to the front line. Fuel doesn't really matter to me that much, as long as they're on the front line and capable. Then again, I do need enough fuel for them to be combat effective. So we'll see what we have available. Really looking forward to it. Slivering Bear teasing us, as well as Matrix. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to actually redeploy forces. I reckon move the AFVs down to this area. This area I really can't lose. But I can certainly hold this. I mean, we have, like, what, the 3rd Panzer Army here just holding this tiny, tiny area. So we'll have to move this. Okay. The Jaegers are actually really effective. Right, these divisions really do need support. They're pretty rough. Okay, so we'll reinforce this area here. Oh boy. Okay, take up that position. Yeah. See, I'm not even that good at RTSs now. I think one of my favourite real-time strategies has to be, like, Supreme Commander. I really love Supreme Commander. Such a good game. Right, fall back to that position. Reinforce here. So I'm surrendering some ground here, but it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, the armor needs to be redeployed. I reckon I'll have the armor move down here. They're on the rail, so what I'll do is I'll move them by rail to this area. Okay, we'll have you reassigned. There we go. Right. So, whoops, didn't mean to move them by rail actually. Can just move them normally. So we shifted forces down this way. We've surrendered some of the ground here, but ultimately this is just clear and open ground. There's nothing there of any value. The Reds are going to obviously surge forward, but it's allowed us to actually build some strength up elsewhere. So, yeah, swings and roundabouts, swings and roundabouts. Right, shift a division over this way. I could actually have a lot of forces redeployed into the Panzer Army here. Okay. Would suck if you managed to pull off a breakout of curl and pocket, only to be cut off again. You know what's going to be the probability here is, like, I actually managed to pull off some kind of breakout here. But turns out Königsberg's fallen, and we're just as far away as we were to begin with. But I mean, even try. I reckon it may be possible. It may be possible. If the worst situation does come about, we will try to withdraw from Karland. But we'll see. I really do feel by holding Karland, it actually does help us out across the rest of the Reich. They are really distracting a hell of a lot of forces, and they are pretty well dug in for the most part. So it's one of those, isn't it, really? Yeah, I really do feel that they do actually perform a better role there. It would be great having them. Certainly would be. But I think for the amount of Red Army forces they distract, I really do think it's worthwhile. Hello there, Honoris. How are you doing, my friend? I mean, this is the big danger. What did you miss so far? Well, we did manage to poke the bear, and the forces that were to the north of here have since redeployed down to the Warsaw region. So we are being pushed back towards Lodz. We are being pushed back slowly but surely over here. We did lose some ground, but we have retained it, more or less. We've given up this ground here. It's just a case again of the supplies there. Okay. This is rough. Certainly need these troops here. Right. I think we'll move the Panzer Army, the SS Panzer Army. The 10th SS Panzer first. How should they cost to move? Transport cost is 9,600. Ooh. Compare that to a division. Yeah, we'll move the infantry first. I think moving the infantry is probably a heck of a better move. They do have the urban fighting capabilities that armor doesn't have. Okay, take them off the rails. Ah, I hope you feel better soon, man. I know what it's like when you feel a bit tired. Like it can get you down. I hope you do feel better. I recommend a good night's sleep. Just try and adjust your pillows as well. I really do find like sometimes you might get used to sleeping in a certain way, and it's actually not the best for your neck. So I'd really consider looking at your pillows. Like maybe change the arrangement, maybe change the number, something like that will help you sleep better. Something the area north of Lodz is more precarious. Yeah, well, I disagree. Yes, we do have this, and this can be strengthened. I'm considering just moving the Volkskammerjägers here. We do have the forces from the Second Army. Now, the Second Army is in an interesting position now. The Reds are... they've waned in strength over in this area. So I reckon what we'll do is we'll have the armour redeployed down to the Lodz region. Or we might even have it just held in reserve, bathing its breath, just to sort of recover for some time. It is indeed open terrain, but they are still limited by logistics. They could drive in deep, but they'll have no rail lines. They'll have no supply. They will obviously have supply rolling in there through supply trucks, but they'll know there won't be any like flatbed support, no rail support, and I can cut them off. Oh, you mean here? Yeah, well, okay. I can see more what you're talking about here. I think what I'll do here is I'll just pull back. I do have a lot of forces here, like the Brandenburg Panzergrenadiers, the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadiers, so we can hold this quite easily. And I think that's really going to be the only situation. Well, solution to the situation is to actually fall back. Right, we'll have these forces attached directly to the 9th Army. I think 2 additional divisions here in this area should be sufficient to hold this. The Reds are in strong numbers, sure. And sure, they might be packing like IS-2s and that sort of nature. But you know what, we've got determination. We'll hold on for the fatherland. Okay. Push the Warsaw Infantry Division up there to the front. Just reconstitute that division. Good, I can actually increase the amount of men there now. Okay. This one holds. You've got to be optimistic. Okay. These forces will move here. Have you on reserve? Okay, you're unready, and you certainly do need to be refitted. So it may be a case just having you sit on top of the town here, have you on refit. Volksgrenadiers. We'll split the 95th up. So the 95th, an element of the 95th can be moved here, and then onto these 2 hexes as well. They will attack here. They will drive it back. Well, my plan here is to have Panzergrenadiers to back that up. As well as the armor. Okay, so we'll move the Berlin Infantry Division here. Move the 6th. Right, I reckon we'll move back across the river here. So we have the 88th and 291st. I mean, yeah, a lot of our divisions here are split up. I really do need to reconstitute them so we actually have a more effective fighting force. It may look like we have more forces in that area due to the amount of actual units, well, like, divisions, I guess. It looks like more forces due to the actual number of units present. But in reality, they're pretty underwhelming in terms of strength. So if I take a look at my rail capacity, yeah, no further reinforcements coming from rail. Reinforcements, sorry. Not the best situation here. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do then is take Moscow. But no, we're going to pull back with the armor here. I need to re-establish a solid front line. This is where the Gross Deutschland Panzergrenadiers are going to come in the most use, I reckon. So we'll have them advance to the north. That is a reserve. Okay, remove the fortified zone. 9th Army can be moved out. Okay, fall back with these infantry divisions. This is the issue, we can't fall back far, but I think the Soviets will help us fall back. By beating our faces in, but hey. Okay, I'll move that division here just to hold up the front line. Actually, I'm going to redeploy the Gross Deutschland Panzer Division, Panzergrenadier Division. As long as I have armor here to secure this front, I think we'll be okay. I will shift more armor to this area, though. Okay. Things are getting way too spread out. Okay, so this is the 40th Panzer Corps. We'll have these forces reassigned here. Make you the 40th. There we go, that'd be lovely. Lovely job, mate. This gives more use to our division here, our divisional command, our corps command, sorry. It takes a lot of the pressure off the other ones as well, so I can redeploy things a little bit easier now. Right, have this Fallschirmjäger reassigned over here. Okay. Can I do any reorganization here? Is there anything, any divisions I can just reconstitute? So we have the... dear. These are really spread out. Right, so 291st there. Got another element of the 291st. Okay. Not... yeah. Okay, I'll have to make do with that. Right. At least I can rebuild the 291st Division. So I'm looking at the 88th. Could the 88th make it there? They could, actually. Okay. What I'll do then is I'll send the Panzer Grenadiers down here to the south. Okay. Rebuild that division. I did have a couple divisions route, which is making things rather difficult. Oh, aye? Is that a new Geod game coming out? Right, I do have another Jaeger division to help make up the numbers here. The situation isn't as bad as it seems. We've lost ground and we've taken some pretty hefty losses. But on the face of it, it does look worse than it really is. Okay, let's start to move forces towards the front line. I think what I'll do then is have this Panzer Division reformed. Okay, reform that division. I'll actually have them here across the river as a extra bit of reinforcement. Oh wow, you're spread out. Okay, you can still manage this, so that's not too bad. Right. See, personally I'd like to see I'd like to see Birth of America remade. That'd be really awesome. Love to see that. That's the game I need to play at some point in the future again. Well, over stream is Birth of America. That'd be really fun. Plays the bloody British. Okay. Right. Well, what's our production like? We are churning out a okay number of Panthers. We also actually still have some Panzer T-34D, so these are obviously like captured models. They do have the 76mm gun though. Right. It's a shame that we don't have any Yag Tigers. These things are beautiful for holding the line. That's a Hungarian variant. Yeah, I'm happy with the amount of Panzers. I would love to have more Panthers. I mean, these heavy tanks really aren't going to do much good. I'd rather have a hell of a lot more medium tanks than these heavies. At the end of the day, their armor does come in handy. I think they're very, very good for the defensive. So we've pulled back a degree over here. We've strengthened our lines to something more manageable. I think it's a case of really deciding where these reinforcements do go. So we'll start to have them march. I think that's what we need to do, is march them across the Reich. Keep them on the routes, though. At least then they have actual access to resources and supply immediately. UV, fuel break light. Yeah, they're out of fuel. Right, so we do have armor group Vistula. That's good. Okay. Could somebody actually send me a link to this poll? I'm feeling a little bit left out here. Okay. Now, armor group Vistula is a full-blown armor group, so I do need to make the most of that. I think what we'll do then is let's take a look. Right. Armor group A is looking a little bit close there. What I could do then, for example, is let's take armor group Vistula. And I'm going to give you armor group Vistula the the second army. Okay. Let's see. Second army will be assigned to armor group Vistula. I think we just need to have the administration points for it, to be fair. Okay, so these divisions will need to be moved on. We'll have them head towards the Lodz area. Reinforcements are on their way. Okay. Now this is a delicate situation, so I will need the panzers for this. Okay. I could actually perform a limited counter-offensive here. Very limited, but at least I'll push them back. Well, I say that. Right, superb. Press them into service. This area is really under threat now. Pretty glad I do have the Jaegers. Have you assigned to the Mountain Corps? Okay. You know what I'm actually going to do here? Thank God for that. I was really worried it wouldn't succeed. But I do think that was worthwhile. At the end of the day, forcing that division back across the river does mean I can actually consolidate the front line there a heck of a lot more. That's good. Now it's going to save us some time, actually. It's going to make the defensive line that much stronger. This is a big threat. So we have what here? The 7th Guards Mechanized Corps, the 31st Tank Corps, and the 7th Guards Rifle Corps. As well as the 10th Guards Tank Corps, the 6th Guards Mechanized Corps, and the 9th Mechanized Corps. So we have 3 Mechanized Corps, 2 Tank Corps, and what, a Infantry Corps or 2? A lot of firepower, you know. Hell of a lot of firepower. These corps are pretty damn strong. Right, shift the headquarters down here. I do have that division there to make up some of the... yeah, move that there. Have the artillery moved down here to support. Right. I think I will shift the panzers down this way too. Have them both set to reserve. I mean, you look at this. Supposedly 2 divisions, and they don't even have the AFV numbers of what a actual Panzer division should do. Nowhere near. Really something that shows the losses. Okay, so we've had some more forces arrive over here by Prague, so that's very good. Move them over. Another Panzer Corps will come in great use. We'll have you move over here. I think as much as it pains me, I do need to move these forces. It simply is that bad. Everything needs to move. As much as it pains me to actually waste this fuel. Okay, so we have a reformed unit there. That's some good power here. Very good power. The 21st is actually very good. Ooh, hello. This artillery is looking pretty attractive. That's a good amount of artillery. Okay. So I need to give his inspiring speech. Ah, dear. Yes, okay. So my inspiring speech. We wouldn't be in this situation had you guys failed to take Moscow. So if you want to blame somebody, blame yourselves. I'm sure that'd get the troops raring. Right. I do love these independent artillery brigades. I really do. Or do we have another reformed over there? Aye, aye. 342nd and the 72nd, which is this, the 342nd. We'll have you meet back up your division. 27th SS Grenadiers. The Holstein Panzer Division will be reactivated. I will move them to Berlin. Wow, it really does pay me to move these troops via conventional rather than using flatbed. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to continue to strengthen this area. I need to continue to present something of an obstacle to the Soviets. I mean, this area has been reinforced to a decent degree. We will be able to hold here. Not particularly well, but a decent degree. I mean, this is pretty weak here, but I don't expect much. Well, but again, I say that they do have great potential to break through. So I think what it might be worth doing is actually redeploying this Panzer Division here. Have them act as this reserve. There we go. But that's not too bad. I mean, the operational focus for the Red Army has shifted. I was hoping to form more of a wedge between the Red Army, but they've actually pushed me back there in the Warsaw area. Though that has cost them in their advance towards, well, towards the Baltic. So I think in some ways it's probably worked out for the best. At least we've actually slowed their momentum down. And they have shifted their focus. At least this is a point where we do have some relatively good strength, so that's always something to take comfort in. And I do mean that relatively. Any downsides of being reserves in the front line? I don't actually have the information regarding one of the East. It's something I've not... I used to know that, I forgot now. But I would say probably so. I don't think they do as well. But then again, without checking the manual, I can't say for certain. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they probably aren't as ready. So I generally try to not have them in the front lines, but sometimes you just need to use them. usually I'll have them in frontline service and on reserve if they're in a location where I don't think they will be attacked. Okay, the 31st is actually going to be really welcome here. Okay, so I think with that, we're okay-ish. So I think we'll go through another turn of pain and we'll see how we go. I think this is a record now. What, 2 turns in a stream? Oh, boy. I mean, you guys are blown away by this speed. If you want to see speed, you ought to see me doing a One Pacific stream. That speed. Oh, you don't even need to go to your local dealer to buy it. It's amazing. Okay, so I've got a question for you guys. Which is your favourite weapon of the Second World War? Now, I'm going to say in Western Europe, and I'm going to say, like, infantry weapon. Ah, that's pretty good. Held on there quite nicely. Not so much there. Not so much. Yeah, the MG42 is so beautiful. Oh, God, it really is. See, I really like... Is it the FMG42? Is it the FMG? I'm sure it's the FMG. Wow, okay. So you remember that time I was talking about how we could actually hold that position quite easily and I didn't need to worry about it? Ooh, those words are coming back to haunt me something fierce. Jeez, well, let's consolidate in the front line. If anything, the Red Army is helping us by reducing their combat wave. At least that's the way I'm going to sleep at night. Okay. What I've done here is I've deployed the infantry on the front line, and they are going to take the brunt. They can't hold that position. Okay, I wasn't hoping for them to rout, but what I need them to do is actually soak up that damage. It may actually look like Lodz is going to fall. If you can count an atomic weapon as a weapon. Yeah, the Bren is sexy. I'm very much biased towards XTRG 44 because I have like a airsoft reproduction. Really, really awesome. I've got a reproduction uniform as well. But that only comes out at Halloween. There's not many places you can go dress as a here officer or hair officer. But I tell you, when I find that place, I will go. Oh dear. I think it'd be great for Halloween. I think it's going to be a real, real good thing. Once again, we lose the town. They really want that town. It's just a shame because I really need to hold it. I mean, I don't need to. But it does give me quite a nice keystone there. Are they launching the offensive I feared? I was honestly anticipating that advance down here. Okay. This is manageable. It's manageable. Not as manageable, but still manageable. I can handle that. Okay, I'm starting to get a little worried. Tad worried. Ah, it's actually a big bush. Man, we are getting pushed back pretty hard here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. It's looking like we may have to fall back to the defensive positions there. Oh, boy, yes. Oh, yes. Right, they pulled back to a degree. We might be able to launch a limited counter-offensive. I suppose this is it, isn't it, really? I guess the German sort of thinking of the time was really more so focused around the infantry support weapon. I don't have as much of a knowledge of like the actual tactical. I've usually read into more of the... Well... I like the grand narrative, I like the strategic level. But I suppose, on the actual tactical level, I suppose German doctrine was really more so based around the infantry support weapon, like IGB machine gun, like the MG34-42. So I'd agree with that. Obviously, it's an emphasis changing over to the individual soldier's firepower. It's only 30-odd rounds. At the end of the day, it's like you couldn't... Well, I think the magazines were supposedly 30 rounds. But I think the actual STG-44 magazine was only really good for about 25 rounds. And I don't think you would really recommend to use it with anything more than 25. I mean, the reproduction magazines I actually have are freaking huge. Massive things. And to be honest, a little bit cumbersome. See you later there, Neil Hauser. Have a good one, my friends. Looking forward to your tears in One of the Pacific. Okay. Has THG completed his turn? I think he's on with it. I don't know if he's had a chance to actually check it out as of yet. But it will be good. I really do look forward to that. Oh, bloody hell, that is a bad situation. But we'll see what we can do here. See, I thrive off of the offensive-defensive sort of doctrine. I love that. That's what I live for. I love it when an opponent thinks he's actually driving you back. And in reality, yeah, he's driving you back. He's actually causing you some issues. But if you make him think, well, I pushed him back there, what should be a victory is actually just a redeployment. You do take a lot of that victory away, and you actually really, with that sort of thinking, you can really make a lot of things. If you don't lose heart, but in fact become encouraged by loss. It's a really weird situation, but it's good. I can promise you the Third Reich doctors do approve of that way of thinking. A victory is actually a loss. Okay, now these armored, yeah, that's over 1,000 AFVs. That's closer to 2,000 AFVs. That's like a third of what I have in terms of armored fighter vehicles concentrated into one battle. That's rather scary. Okay. Now this is a situation that I wanted to avoid. I was certainly where I was weak in this area, but I was hoping against hope that they wouldn't exploit it. Well, we know where reinforcements are heading towards now, don't we? See, the issue is, this is going to threaten Breslau. That's not a good situation. Certainly not a good situation. The only redemption here that I could have is if they drive on too deep. Okay, so I'm going to admit, and this is just a private admission, that I think this turn is by far the worst that we've had. By far the most painful, and the one that is going to be by far the most difficult to deal with. But this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. This is going to be great. The Reds are trying to drive open into the plains of Poland, and I'm loving it. This is going to be great. We're going to be able to drive them back. Wink, wink. Cough, cough. Nudge, nudge. It looks like we're losing our ground, and we are in certain locations. But we can drive them back. We can certainly do this. I do have reinforcements on the way, thankfully. And this is going to be pushing us back towards our interior lines, which is going to help alleviate the supply situation. The winter's really, really driving me hard. I need this reprieve. You know what? I just thought like Goliaths. Goliaths are freaking awesome. They forced the Jaegers and infantry and Panzer to retreat. Though losses weren't too bad. 3-1. Those are bad losses. Pretty catastrophic, but hey. Yeah, they are certainly opening the floodgates. I suppose that's a good term. Spoken like a true propaganda officer. Okay. So it may look like a catastrophic series of events here. But in fact, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to pull off the world's, well, the largest pocket in human history. We're going to turn Germany into a cauldron which the Red Army will be pummeled. At least that's what we're telling the troops on the ground. Right, okay, so losses. Not as many men died this turn, at least for the Axis. The Reds remain around 60,000, but these losses, they're not enough. They're really not enough to put a dent in them. They don't slow them down. Okay. Okay, so let's establish here what's going on. I might be able to drive a limited counteroffensive towards Warsaw here, and I think that has to be done. The Reds have lost a lot of their edge here. They do have their armoured forces. They're really keeping them in the centre. Lodz is about to become a... well, it really is a frontline fortress city here. If we push back from Lodz, this is bad. Lodz is certainly the city I need to hold on to, because this is a keystone. This is an absolute keystone of the area. There's really just plains beyond this, and that's bad. If they get into the plains, that's going to make things a lot more fun. Okay, we will push back here, but that did nothing really. This was by far the worst. I do have routed troops on the front, and the 83rd, this is actually a fairly strong division relatively. Well, relatively strong division to what we actually have all across the line. Right, we'll run some reconnaissance here, see what we have going for us. And, yeah, it's not very much, but we'll see. Very much considering that we fall back to the defensive line here. We'll try to manage our best. Ah, that's weak, and this is weak. That's relatively weak. Okay, I might be able to do something here. Potentially. Right. There's also a lot of AFVs here. At least a good couple hundred aren't usable for the time being. Please show me a weather report. Right, more blizzard and snow. Okay. Okay, your initiative has increased. More units have arrived. Oh dear. The issue is getting them to the front line. It may be, I mean, let's see here, we have 17,000. I could move the SS Panzers, but that would be about it. I think it's really going to come down to just moving infantry. Yeah, they look like they're about to break through here. I mean, they have broken through here, to begin with. The infantry that we could immediately respond with isn't too great. I could pull Panzer Grenadiers off here to actually stem the bleeding, which can be done quite easily. The Forschungsjägers could be sent into the Lodz itself to actually act as a good, strong defensive formation. I do feel what we may have to do then is actually drive home a counter-offensive in this area. Possibly redeploy Panzers down to the south here as well. This is not good. This is not good. Not good at all. This is the situation I'm very worried about. It can be held back. But I didn't actually anticipate losing so much ground here so very quickly. So the Reds are really building up their momentum here. It may come to giving up Königsberg. If I give it to Königsberg, what do I actually lose? I lose armament production. I don't lose huge amounts, but I do lose a lot. There's a lot of population loss, but it may come down to actually giving up Königsberg. It's not the best situation here. It certainly isn't. Oh boy, oh boy. I do have reinforcements making their way to the front lines, but it's just a trickle. Just a trickle. We do have strong points. Like, for example, I could drive home a limited counter-offensive here. I think what we need to do is resist and bite. I think that needs to be our doctrine here. Fight until the last man in specific locations. Yeah, fight, but don't blow the division away in the rest. But where we have the strength to actually launch limited counter-offensives, I really do think we need to. Even if it seems like we're only driving back a brigade or just a division, I do think it is going to be worthwhile. I think it actually is going to make a massive difference. As at the end of the day, that is going to force the AI to think, okay, well, I'm being pushed back here, here and here and here and here. I need to send troops there. I need to retake that. I think when it comes to the Lodz offensive, we need to weaken their flanks. That's what we need to do. We need to really threaten their flanks. If this wasn't as strong, this would have been superb for a drive towards Warsaw. Okay. And the issue is this rail line has been broken. I can obviously still redeploy there, but it does make things more difficult. Do something daring, fall back to the Oder, then bleed them wide while you free up your forces. Well, you can predict what will happen. A war sort of Poznan, Lodz to Breslau. Yeah, pretty much. It's a good possibility then. If we were to pull back, I could pull back to about here. I think what we may consider doing then is actually pulling back to this line. I do gain the benefit of these lakes if we actually hold until the winter melts. Well, till the snows melt. But there's nothing to be lost here. I do want to hold on to Königsberg. If anything, it is a really important city just for its location, for the fact it's a port, that's good to mean. I mean, even if this area is cut off, Königsberg can receive supply. I think there's nothing else for it than to potentially fall back here in East Prussia. It is going to help reduce the frontage. What I don't like is giving too much land without actually opposing the Red Army. The issue is our vehicle pool is just bleeding itself dry at this moment. Which is not good. Okay, let's actually take a look at the production and see what's in round. So in transit, let's see. 24. 26. These numbers aren't good enough. Ooh, we have the Arado. That's awesome. Honestly, I think if there was anything that would help to change the situation on the ground, it would be just producing plenty of really light, cheap, but well-armed tank destroyers. Just a platform. It doesn't even need to be potentially armoured. Then again, that would make them easy prey to the air. But I just reckon something cheap and cheerful. Something with a gun that's capable of actually killing a heavy tank. Ah, boy. I think the situation over here as well. Do we consider falling back to this line? I could potentially have something like this. I hold this. Possibly. I could definitely do that. I do gain the benefit of these actual defensive fortifications at least. I'm keen to try and hold the river line as long as possible. The reason being, if the weather does suddenly change, that river line is going to become a... It's like a wall. It's like an actual castle wall. And that is a massive, massive deal. So I think when it comes down to it, of all course is the ports. These ports need to be held. But I do think we pull back here. I don't like doing it, but I think we have no other choice. And that does not make me happy. Just we'll cross the river. Crossing the Rubicon, I suppose you could say. Who knows, this may help us just stop the bleeding. The supply situation is pretty dour at the moment. The issue is when units start running low on supplies and ammunition. They don't fight as effectively in combat. Nowhere near as effectively in combat. So that's something that we do have to really bear in mind. I think we just really have to fall back, don't we? I think it has definitely come to that situation. Right, disband this over here. them reconstituted. Have you assigned to Elcor? There we go. Yeah, these level 3 fortifications are pretty good. I mean, I need to hold this one. This is the issue. This is where they're going to push their forces. But at the end of the day, at least they can only attack from one direction, so that's going to make that significantly easier to hold. Worst case scenario is our forces are split up over here. That would be the absolute worst case. I mean, do I consider going for this offensive? I think we have to try something. I think we've spent too many resources here, we've given up too much. I mean, the armor could have been significantly more useful over here if I don't go for this. If I don't go for this, it would have been a massive waste. So I think we'll have to consider that. We'll consider evacuation, but that's only when the situation gets worse than what it already is. Over here... I mean, what I do have a fortified line here. So I think what we might do then is fall back to that position, which isn't too bad. I still have Königsberg under control. I give enough ground to actually gain a breather and to reduce the combat with. But not too much that I lose everything, and I do actually have some solid fortifications. Even if we push back from here, I can move back to this, and at least this is good. It would be great. It might actually be worthwhile these troops that are coming in. Potentially just taking some of them off and having them start to dig fortified lines. Like a fortified line here would be brilliant. But we'll have to consider that. And I think that will have to come in the future in the next session. So thank you so very much, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. And do bear in mind, before we do forget, we do have fortified lines all the way back over here, so things aren't too bad. We're not doing so badly. We aren't. This is where I need to hold them. I think it might be worthwhile to actually pull back over here, try to move the forces down here. I really will be considering driving home a counter-offensive with the Grossdeutschland Panzer Division. Just armoured forces. I need to nip at their flanks. I need to really, really nip at these flanks. If the Soviets are allowed to advance unmolested, I think they really will have an open field day. But yes, that will come next time. So until next time, guys, thank you so very much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed this. And thank you to Matrix and Slytherin for allowing me to do this. It's been a pleasure. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to post a link to my own channel so you guys can find me. Some shameless self-promotion. But hey, I'm sure you guys may forgive me. If you don't, then I don't know. I'll have to go cry. There we go, some shameless self-promotion. So until next time, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Please do leave your suggestions in the comments. Give me an idea of what you think might be a good idea. Maybe where we should deploy instead. So until next time, goodbye. Have a great evening or day, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.